Welcome to Story to Camera, where we tell the stories that matter within our community. To mark International Women's Day, we tell the story today all about women. Firstly, I'm here at the Titanic Hotel in Belfast for a meeting of the Next Chapter. And meeting me first is Mary MacDonald to tell us the story.
The Next Chapter is a 2-year project that's coming to an end. It was a Peace 4 funded project, and it was about giving a voice to women, giving them the skill set and the training to step up. And the key aims were that they would be more aware, they'd step up to public boards, they would touch politics if that was their aim, and really just to reconfidence any women that were out there that maybe sitting on the sidelines, not sure where they're going to go next. So hence they called it the Next Chapter. And as it's coming to an end, some of the groups that I do coordinate, Kevin, have actually stepped beyond, and they're already forming their own pathways to take their project further. So their training has been very key, it's been very effective. I'm thinking of the Newry women in particular. They're really keen to take an advancement on training women within the Newry area on certain key areas that are of interest within the Newry area. There's also a great arts vibe in Newry, but not enough drivers. So I think the Newry chapter women, the really strong women, will bring some key events to Newry. The Titanic Hotel here, we've over 120 women from all the 10 chapters across Northern Ireland and the border counties. So we've people from Louth, Cavan and Monaghan and Donegal, along with people within Northern Ireland. And they come together and they can really become inspired, listen to what's happening in the different regions, listening to the problems also, Kevin, that face women. One of the Newry women today was actually selected to speak at this event. And again, she's travelling to the UN in New York for a conference on peace building and women making that difference. So those women from Newry are heading off to speak in New York. You know, so that's quite a significant achievement for people within Newry to say, we've got this capability, we can travel, we can take that voice further. So, yeah.
Mary, Story to Camera will certainly be following the Next Chapter with interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
I joined last summer, the Next Chapter, and it has built lots of confidence, and it's also, don't forget, I just moved recently to Ireland. I lived all my life in big cities, so I just wanted the countryside and all of that. So I was doing lots of research because I used to work for the United Nations.
Very good.
So yeah, I did my work before moving here.
So you're just over the border,
yes,
not too far from Newry.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've been in Newry on many occasions, and now you've made some friends here with the Next Chapter.
Very, and it's sort of like, and it helped me to build my network in that, and I can see sort of like people link together and everybody knows each other, you know, because a small town is something that I'm not used to it, and I really enjoyed it because it has introduced me to lots of people. And
so what's next for you with the Next Chapter?
We'll see. It's sort of like, you know, I used to work, and since I came, I've been sitting at home. So maybe I'll enhance my skills in order to go back into working. And I'm doing lots of things like in community developments and that. And although I used to be in IT. All my past were sort of like my past history was in IT. So I just want to sort of like, you know, I found new skills with new is the Next Chapter about myself.
Thank you for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tracy's from Invest NI, and you're based in Newry, Tracy. Startup businesses is something that you do on a regular basis. You help people get their business going. You give business advice. And let's look at empowering women. Is there many women at the moment in startup businesses across the Newry area?
There is women in business, but not enough. Again, we're giving women the confidence to actually go in business and helping women know that they can balance all the other challenges they have in life with running a business, because they have childcare issues, different parental responsibilities. You know, they're the sandwich generation with their parents and their children, and they need flexibility in their lives. And running your own business, a lot of people think it's a full-time occupation. So we be a part of programs like Yes We Can, the Women in Business boot camps, and helping them and showing what support that we can give. And sometimes when people are coming to you about business, it's about reassuring them and say, yes, you're doing the right thing. And things take longer in business to do than people realise, and it doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong, that it's taken a longer time, and giving them that confidence that yes, you're doing the right thing.
I had this burning passion to take my knowledge about what I'd learned about women in law, for example, and empowering women out into my own local community. Well, the message is, in the next chapter in Uri, we intend to put on some women's empowerment training and workshops for you.
Yeah, you enjoy the warmth in the cafe and chatting with the ladies. We're out in the street for International Women's Day.
Okay, I would say that in 2020 empowering women means allowing women to speak for themselves, and that's across all identities as well. Make their own choices, decide what they want to do and how to live their lives.
It's my manager. Yeah, her name is Kyla.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And why?
Because I think she I can see her as a role model because she grows herself, and I can see her gives me motive and support, and I can look her as a role model, and then I can see how she helps other women to grow. So yeah.
For me it would be my mother. For me, my wife.
It's 2020, what does the word empowerment mean?
I don't know. God. I don't know, you do yourself, you have to...
National Women's Day around the corner.
Right.
I say the word woman.
Right.
Who first pops into your head?
Marie Curie.
Brilliant. Why remember her?
I don't know, the first woman chemist, awarded now 2 Nobel Prizes. She's inspiration for everyone.
Before you go, please tell us about this hat.
That's my new style. I discovered myself because I wanted to be different than everyone usually go for fashion trends, and for God, there used to be time when everyone was individual personality, so I like the steampunk style.
Yeah, me too. Look at my hat. Oh, look. Never mind, I've got the funkiest hat out in the cold. It's time for Yverne to have a cosy, warm coffee chat.
Mark, come in out of the cold and join us for a coffee. I'm here with Patricia McFarland, and we're just talking about strong women because it's been International Women's Day. And tell me a bit about what you do, Patricia.
Okay. Well, I suppose what I do now is many different things. I currently work in the field of dementia, so I do a lot around education, training, and primarily I suppose working to change the way we think about dementia, and therefore to change the way as a society that we respond to it. So kind of that's my academic and takes up most of my working time. But I'm also a coach and a counsellor, and I'm a grandmother. So
that's very important.
Yes, it is. That's almost the most important part of it. So that's all of those things together.
And Patricia, you didn't just fall into this role at all. You had some people would look at your life and say it was quite a struggle for you to get to where you are now.
They might. And I suppose, I grew up in a small town on the border at the height of the Troubles, and quite honestly, for my family, the thought of going to university, and I was well able for it, was just that though, and it didn't happen. I joined the civil service at 17 in Belfast. Don't ask me why, I'm not even quite sure now, but I guess it was to do with stability. I think a lot of attitudes in Northern Ireland at that time, sort of the psyche was really around staying safe.
Right.
And safety for my family at that time was a lot to do with, well, it's a pensionable job, there are good conditions, and it was really seen as quite important to be able to do something like that.
For you, what does it mean to be empowered or strong?
I think it's what I said earlier, it means to be seen. And that's kind of, a lot of that's down to me, the willingness to be seen, but also being willing to play my part in opening up the world to how women are seen. So, I think in more recent years, there's the Me Too campaign, there are lots of things happening around the recognition of how much the lack of equity, the inequality that still exists when it comes to the situation of women in our world. But I also think there's a risk that we move into this adversarial position, so that women in opposition to men, or women somehow that in order to be equal must have more power.
Yeah.
And I don't actually agree with that. I think men are our greatest allies if we can help them to see that actually this world that they see now, many men see the position of women as being now equal. They would argue, well, you have the vote, your position in the world, you know, there's no such thing as a glass ceiling.
Yeah.
And this is not actually factual.
No.
There are many, many situations where women are still in actually an underprivileged position to men. But I have many male friends who are amazing feminists.
Yeah.
And who, alongside women, see how much the world still has to change. So that also, I feel, by living the way I live, is a way of, I guess, creating a space for that. I don't want to be in opposition to create enough, but rather to create a space where we can all see there's so much work still to be done.
And finally, Patricia, it's a story about strong women.
Yeah, it is, and I guess that's actually really important to me, because we've been talking about my journey, and I'm not sure, including myself, that we would consciously think of ourselves as strong women, but I am surrounded by strong women. Beautiful, strong, extraordinary women living what they would describe as very ordinary worlds with no awareness of just how amazing they are. And that is one of the joys of being a woman in communion with other women, actually, is the way I describe it. Because, you know, I have young mothers, you know, having babies, grandmothers like me in the world, women out in political life, women at home, you know, deciding their choices there, you know, cooking for a family, women doing what would be perceived as predominantly male jobs, women doing what would be perceived as particularly feminine jobs, and each and every one of them leading these amazing lives, juggling all of the challenges of being a woman in this world.
Thanks very much for talking.
You're very welcome, thank you.
Here they are.
Oh, here they come.
Oh yeah, so everyone's having coffee in the coziness today. Right, here, listen, hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you know anyone who'd be interested in anything that's been said, share it.
Yeah, story to camera, as always, the stories that matter to you across the community. Until the next time, bye-bye.